Welcome to Pioneer Effects. Today is the 10th of November. Hope you guys are all doing well. This week, we've had a major update in terms of inflation here. As you guys can see, we've got the US inflation rate hits its highest since 1990. So the annual inflation rate in the US surged to a 6.2% in October, the highest since November of 1990 and above forecasts of 5.8%. So that is a big bearish tone right now coming from this data release that we've had earlier on today. We'll have a look at it. We'll have a look at the figures that came out actually on my FX book. Just to gauge to see what is actually happening. So this week, in terms of fundamental shifts here now, we've had some inflation rate data that came out at around 1.5%. Their target was 2%, so that is really good for China. What other change did we have this week? The big one is the inflation for this week, to be honest. We've also had some unemployment rate for Australia. Not much of a change there. So that remains the same. So yeah, we're just waiting on at the moment. Where is that inflation? We've had some inflation data come out today. Here we are, the dollar inflation rate at 6.2%. That is extremely, extremely high, as well as the core inflation rate. There's something looming right now for the dollar, and I could actually see it coming through in terms of this bearish momentum that we've been kicking and fussing about for quite some time. So let me just share my screen. So in terms of the fundamental ranking, not much has changed there from the fundamental ranking. However, I'm starting to see the picture turn for the dollar from here on upwards. Looking at this here, the data right now, inflation is at 6.2%. They did forecast 2%, but they were expecting to see some higher inflation. But 6.2 is a no-no for the dollar. In terms of their PMIs, and their consumer confidence, everything's looking great at the moment, apart from their inflation rate and their core inflation rate, which is weighing down on the dollar, as well as the interest rate cycle. We are still within a cutting cycle in terms of the interest rate. So now moving on, just updating you guys as to where we are in terms of this fundamental shift. So yeah, let's just currently look at the charts, and then we'll move on to volatility right now. So with regards to volatility, I did mention to you guys that we were expecting to see some volatility spikes, some volatility rise, and here we are now. So at this moment in time, we're currently sitting at around 18.8. I would love to see volatility kick up higher. Hence the reason why most of our trades have actually retraced. So the moment it pushes up higher, even higher, we are looking to jump into AUDCAD, AUDUSD, US oil. US oil was a beautiful trade. I did mention to you guys earlier on today that I was expecting to see a push lower, and from the start of this week, it started rising. It rose all the way up to this area here at a discounted rate. And I messaged you guys through Telegram saying this is going to push down. And so done. Currently around 300 pips in profit. Looking for, we could potentially settle at current price. So what to expect now moving forward. Let me just get rid of some of these lines because it's currently respecting this green line, but you can see price has now is currently retracing from this support here. So we'll leave that green line on. So what to expect now is we might have a retracement higher potentially before melting down, or we could just have that bearish momentum push down even further, potentially through to tomorrow. So expecting to see our first target to be hit. Another scenario could play out from now until probably the end of this week is a push down lower, and then potentially, a push down lower through to these lows over here, and then gauged some more buyers into the market, potentially rejecting off that 38.2 and pushing down lower. So expecting to see this trend line to be broken. At the moment, it's currently consolidated here quite heavily. It has liquidated most sellers out right now, or we could have another shift higher. Perhaps we could shift up towards that 113 before dropping down towards our 27.2. So expecting to see around 77 potentially through to this week. So that's that one. UJ. UJ is at a discounted rate, guys. I did mention this to you guys from last week on Sunday, that what I'm expecting to see now is potentially a retracement higher, which we did get. So it's currently following this black line here. So what to expect now from these highs is a dramatic shift lower. Let me get rid of a few boxes just so that we can see where we are and where we're going to be heading to now. Didn't really follow that pink line. It did actually follow this pink line here. Pushed up right through now. So what to expect through to the end of this week is potentially a push lower and then a retracement higher, make another higher high potentially, or even react from this descending trend line here. So it's currently made a first touch, second touch. Are we going to have that third touch of this trend line? So do keep an eye out of that third touch of the descending trend line. That could play out. In terms of psychological stops, we're nice in terms of placing it at 115.5. We could easily have a retracement higher towards 115 before pushing down lower. So let me just get rid of these arrows now, just so that we are clear. So right now you can see price pushed up. What it's trying to do now is potentially trying to attract some more buyers into the market. You can clearly see that it's trying to attract some more buyers in. They can see that sort of morning star formation. We could have another retracement here and then a push higher through to these highs to liquidate sellers first, wick them out before pushing down towards our 112 target. Also, what we could expect to see is a dramatic shift down too, and then a retracement and potentially our TP2 to be struck as well. So a fair few scenarios could play out through to this week, but definitely looking for that bearish momentum to push down. Plenty of room down to the south side, and we can also have a long-term target for UJ of 109.3 long-term, that is. So we shall see what is going to happen now. It's currently consolidated. You can see it's up, down, up, down, up, but trying to attract buyers here. Clear trap over here. There must have been a lot of sellers coming in down here. They've been liquidated. So currently, off the back of that inflation news, all of a sudden the dollar started pushing higher. Let's have a look at the DXY. You can see the DXY now prices push right through, right to our psychological stop loss. I kept it nice and tight because I was expecting to see a major retracement down, but we didn't quite get it. A lot of traders are potentially selling the dollar off the back of inflation news, hence the reason why the dollar has started to shift up. And not only that, remember, volatility. When volatility goes up, most of our trades, they go into retracement. So we can start to potentially leverage or use our leverage here to our greatest to enter at different levels for when volatility does push down, we're going to be in heavy profits. Palladium here, we didn't quite get the retracement I was looking for using this black line. I was expecting to see price to come down to around 1920 before pushing up. However, it's currently respecting this pink line. Price pushed up towards this red resistance zone, pushed back down again. Now, could we have that push higher towards 2200? It's very well likely. So leaving this as it is, I can actually get rid of the black lines just so that we can see where it's going to gauge to next. So what I could see now is potentially a push down lower through to these lows. That's a tool. Potentially a push down lower through to these lows here, and then that breakthrough, which is that golden zone 1920, before pushing up, potentially targeting 2080 once more, and then that 2200 and that long-term target of 2274. Or what we could see now, potentially through to the end of this week, is potentially a rise higher, hovering around here, attract some more sellers before pushing up even higher towards the highs. So two scenarios most likely to be played out for Palladium. AUDCAD, what a discount rate here. It's currently sitting at 78.6 fib. We've got this descending trend line that is currently respecting at this moment in time. A lot of traders coming in short here. Look at this, guys. It's at a discounted rate, looking to potentially long this one at current market price. What we could expect now through to this week is potentially a push higher, potentially a push higher towards this resistance zone, and then perhaps melt and break through these lows here before pushing up towards that 38.2. Another push down, another drive down, and then a push up here, push down, and then our target of 0.937. So this one here, what to expect now? Potentially, we could have another. We could see another retracement down lower at a discounted rate. That's if volatility continues to push higher. If it continues to push higher, we will get a further retracement for AUDCAD. So it's just about being patient, guys. We could see this area to be targeted or liquidated first before pushing higher, or we could have another scenario to be played out. What we could see now from here is we could see a push, a rise higher, and then end it off here towards the end of this week. Attract set the traders to go short, bam, so on and so forth. So two scenarios could actually be played out. We could settle around here towards the end of this week before we get another push higher for AUDCAD, but still fundamentally looking extremely long and extremely attractive to actually potentially look for some longs here. In terms of standard deviation, currently it's at -1.28 on the 4 hourly. On the daily, it's at -1%. So there's plenty of room for it to push higher. It's just about entering it's just about entering at a discounted rate, which is currently what we're currently looking at the moment. So AUDCAD, definitely looking for longs. AUDUSD is currently sitting now at our discounted rate zone. 3 scenarios, but obviously it's currently following this purple line here. Prices pushed down. Could we see a retracement from these lows here? It's going to be very likely now. What to expect here? Let's have a look at it now at a greater detail. Get rid of these lines. In terms of the 4 hourly, sitting at -1 standard deviation. So zoom right out here. So what to expect now from these lows is it could potentially push down even lower to attract more sellers in the market. And then we'll get that nice push through higher. Sellers coming in again, they will be taken out, so on and so forth. So targeting 0.753 as our potential first target, but definitely starting to look for some longs at these lows for AUDUSD. Gold, this was a beauty of a trade. For those who did catch it, since way back down here, we were looking for longs. 28th of September, prices pushed right through. Again, it retraced. We looked for some longs at 1760 and it pierced right through. Take profit 1, 2, and it's still currently rising. So now what to expect now from these highs? Let me get rid of this arrow. Actually, let me go back at it again. We didn't quite get the retracement for those who are looking to actually get into this one long, but for those who are holding it for a few weeks now, you're definitely in some decent profit here now. But looking at this, I was looking for it to get, I was looking for gold to retrace further in order for me to potentially get into this one. But at the moment, it's as you can see, the standard deviation is currently at plus 2.48. So definitely overextended. What I am anticipating through to this week now is potentially a push down lower through to 1831, attract sellers in the market even further, even potentially towards that 38.2 before continuing the next run to the north, because there's definitely due a major retracement. So you could potentially start to short it from these highs, or you can start to hedge it short in order for us to bank a fair few pips as it comes down lower, or you could be patient. If it does come down to these lows of around 1800, we can start to position ourselves to potentially go long. USD Swiss franc, what a trade. I was expected to see a major retracement. Now what to expect here is potentially a pierce through higher. 19,2200 is going to be a decent area to start looking for some sell setups. Currently at minus 0.58. So there's still a lot of room for USD Swiss francs to come up higher. It could also come up as high as 0.93 before pushing down lower. So what to expect now is a retracement since volatility is pushing even higher. What to expect is a push down here, potentially attract some more buyers in the market before we get a meltdown towards that target, which we already had 0.91170, but expecting a bounce from here and then push down lower for USD Swiss franc. So at the moment, this is not quite ready yet in order for me to jump on just yet. I did take most of my profits off the table at 0.91170. New Zealand Swiss franc, beautiful trade actually. This one played out to the T. For those who did catch it this week, we had that retracement, beautiful discounted area for those who did sell it over here. You're currently now at around 70 pips in profit, and it's going to continue to push down lower, potentially through to 0.644 before we get a retracement. So we might get a retracement here. It might retrace from these lows here to push up higher, and then second target to be hit 0.64 potentially through to this week. But as you can see right now, it's currently at minus 0.78. So we could potentially see it go even further down, but we could get a major retracement higher before New Zealand Swiss franc pushing down. The dollar at the moment currently above our psychological stop loss. Let's get rid of that now. What to expect now? Yes, well above our stop loss there. What to expect now is, let's see how much this impulsive wave is going to push higher. I don't think it's going to push higher than that. At the moment, it's just trying to attract buyers into the market as much as possible, potentially bounce through, push up higher, then melt through, retracement, melt through, retracement, drop. So expecting to see 93 in the future for the dollar. So nothing has changed. Volatility has pushed up as expected. Potentially going to see it rise even higher towards 24, but who knows? Or we could start to see it drop down from these highs. And the moment it does drop down, we could see oil melt down further. We could see USDJPY head down further. Palladium pierce through 2078. AUDCAD will start to pounce higher. Since, I mean, the reason why we did see that retracement as well is because of the dollar strength that kicked in all of a sudden, which is very, very strange. A lot of traders may have they may have started to sell the dollar as we speak. So hence the reason why the dollar going the other way first before pushing down and melting down pretty badly. So do make the most of it, guys. Is there any questions before I finish up? Any questions? Just before I finish up, actually, let's just see what we're going to expect through to this week. I don't think there's going to be much of high risk data news. We do have employment change, unemployment rate for Australia tonight. So do keep an eye out of that. What else? We've got the GDP coming out for the pound. We do know where we do know where the pound is leading. It's actually starting to push higher off the back of the PMIs. So the PMIs are an early indication as to where the GDP is about to go. So we do know it's going to be a decent figure, but GDP, we do know, is a lagging indicator. So for those who actually jump onto it, they're already late. But I'm not currently trading the pound, just waiting for a bit more clarity as to where the institutions are looking to take that. We do have some inflation rate coming out, but that's not for the entire euro, that's actually for Kosovo. So pushing down through to Friday, we do have the business and New Zealand PMI, something to watch out for. Friday, not much, to be honest, apart from the consumer sentiment. So yeah, that's that. So towards the end of this week, potentially we could start to see volatility push down because there's not much actually happening towards the end of this week. So we could potentially start to profit from the trade setups that we were looking at. Is there any questions before I finish up? Any questions? Jermaine, Jury. Are you guys doing all right, yeah? Well, I hope you are, and I hope you're having a fantastic week. And yeah, we'll catch up on Sunday. Thanks very much once again, and I shall see you on Sunday. If there's any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me through Telegram, and I shall get back to you as soon as. Thanks once again, and bye for now.